I'm so cool. Hey everybody! Happy Finance Friday. I'm Amy Novakovic. This is my friend Erica Castner.
Hi guys.
Thanks so much for being here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. We're here from Universal Studios in
Hollywood.
It's freaking raining outside and we're in California.
Look at us.
That's why we look like drowned rats.
Okay, this is all frizzy and nasty. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, we just
We're
had
drowned
lunch.
rats. We just walked. We trucked it like a half a mile in high heels. So this is crazy.
We just had lunch. Big shout out to this place. You can see that.
Can Machos?
Machos. We just had some phenomenal Mexican food, and so we're gonna
And thanks for joining. We are super psyched to talk today because we're going to talk about investing. Obviously, is something that we all need to do, but how do you know when to invest in yourself that you hear so many people talk about? Invest in yourself. How can you invest in yourself? Do this, motivation, all this stuff. And then what we talk about, which is investing for your future self. So how do you know which to do? How do you do both? Can you do both? We're going to cover all this today because everybody needs to invest, but you got to know what to do, when to do it. And we are at City Summit, technically, today.
Yeah, City Summit today, City Gala on Sunday.
Right. So this is a huge conference with amazing speakers. We've seen people, everybody from Brian Smith, the founder of UGG Boots, and all kinds of people speaking about investing in yourself, right? And this is kind of what you help people with. Erica, by the way, is a business productivity coach, helps people building relationships and increasing their productivity. Hey, Eric.
Thank you.
So this is like what she talks about all the time too, about investing in yourself. So why don't you talk about that for a second?
Okay, cool. So initially, when we were chatting,
I'm like shaking, like
here
because I'm so cold.
Oh my gosh, let's do this.
Oh, great idea. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
perfect.
So we're kind of awkward, but we're trying to make it work.
Because you're super tall.
I'm freakishly tall, but all right. So you guys are so patient. Share this because this is actually going to be like really funny. We are talking about a very serious topic.
And can you guys hear us okay? Because there's a lot of background noise. I'm hoping you guys can hear okay.
Why don't we get closer? That way
get closer.
Okay. So comment and let us know that you can actually hear us. Okay.
Yes,
Thanks,
Jim. Okay, good.
So investing in yourself. One of the things that we were talking about over lunch is like if you're thinking about like getting more capital, if you're thinking about bringing other investments into your world, the very first thing that you have to figure out is you have to figure out this, okay?
Yes.
Like it is such a, like Amy and I both know from a place of like we could not be doing what we're doing today if it wasn't for the mental investments we're making in ourselves, the personal development investments we're making in ourselves. And I feel like
if you're going to invest in yourself, you have to know what you're investing in.
Right, exactly.
You can't just say, oh, I'm going to invest in myself. You have to have a plan and a passion.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many ways we can talk about this today,
right.
But a lot of it is just in the sense of, like, I think for a lot of us, if we're thinking about financial gains, if we're thinking about gaining more wealth, more opportunities.
Is that alcohol behind you?
It is.
Yes, we're in a bar.
We are totally not drinking at all.
No, I'm not drinking. We really aren't. I know my people from Wisconsin might not believe that, but I'm really not.
We were so hardcore. We had hot tea. Like
yes,
that's how we roll over here.
Because it's freaking freezing here. It's really cold.
So yeah. I mean, that's like I could ramble on and on about that. I'm not going to, but I think that's where I'm at with it. Like if we want to have more wealth and accumulate that, and now they're making like a frozen margarita back there, we've got to be in a position. We've got to be in a position to take it to that next level and then make those investments in ourselves. And we can certainly talk about what those investments look like, Amy, but
you have to be investing either way, I think is the point. Like if you're going to invest in yourself or invest in your business, invest in training. We always talk about, you mentioned info sponging a lot. You talk about that because Jeff Hoffman, the founder of Priceline, talks about info sponging, which is going out and reading and researching things outside of your scope of business, outside of what you do, to kind of get a better grasp on what your potential is.
Right.
So if you do that and you get an idea of how you can help and how you can offer value to people, I talk all the time with my business owners on what value do you offer, what value do you bring. So if you're investing in that, technically you're investing on your income, you're investing on how to bring in more income, okay? Now what I'd always talk about too is investing in yourself, your future self, because your future self will always thank you. Like nobody ever says to me, and I say this all the time, I wish I would have started later.
Right.
Oh, I wish I would have saved less. If I only certainly would have saved less. Nobody says that. So you have to have a way to set up to invest for your future self too. So how do you know when to do both? Well, you can do both, first of all. Investing for your future self, fortunately, you have time on your side. You can put away $50 a month systematically, automatically into a savings account, and then take your big chunks of money and determine where it needs to go. Call Erica, determine where it needs to go. And investing in yourself now and in your business now so you can invest more for your future self. So you can do both. It's not a ridiculous idea.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially if they're thinking about, especially in the business world, if they're thinking about making that investment in a professional development coach, like working with me privately is going to be a significant financial cost. However, it's also going to require you to have a significant time investment into it as well, too.
That's a great point, because working with me is a cost too.
Absolutely.
So you're investing in yourself by surrounding yourself with professionals that can take you to the next level.
But my point about this is, like, for a lot of people that are watching this right now who've never made like the tens of thousands of dollars that it, like, I'm not even going to tell you the amount that I've spent in my personal development in just the last 4 years. It's been absolutely insane. But
it seems like the more you make, the more you want to invest in yourself.
Right.
And I actually would make the argument that the more you make, the more you should invest for your future self.
Absolutely. Well, no. So, but it all goes together, right?
Because you will always be making that income is the problem too.
Right. And so, like, I'm talking about, like, from my point of view, like, for a lot of business owners that I work with, they're usually time poor. You know, like, they're usually, like, they're spread so thin, and they're trying to figure out ways to be more productive. Working with me and working with somebody like Amy in terms of, like, leveraging some of the assets that we have. So, like, for the companies that I work with, assets meaning their teams, how to make those teams more productive, how to make them, like, the business owner a better leader so they can actually be more efficient with that time aspect, and also money too. I mean, obviously time is money, you get what I'm saying. So it's making that sacrifice up front, I think, in order for us to, in our future selves, so we're talking about that aspect of it, to protect ourselves from catastrophic pitfalls in the future, you know. And so going back,
that's a big thing too, investing in things that allow you to make the right choices. For your future self.
Perfect case and example.
How do you know what to invest in, though? How do you know to hire you or to just go out and buy that business? Or how do you know which to do? Like when you're coaching your clients, like how do you guide them through where to put their money?
Perfect. I think the simplest form, and this is actually an exercise that I'll walk through my clients on constantly, on a regular basis, different challenges, different ways. Come on, sister, warm up. The simplest exercise I could give you to answer your question and to give you all watching is to literally weigh out a pros and cons list. So, like, whatever you might be, whether it's like making it a decision to work with a coach, whether it's making a decision to
hire a professional to manage your stuff for you.
Yeah, that aspect, or I mean, anything that is requiring you to make a major decision. Literally, old school it. Go to your, like, I don't. Oh, actually, I do. I do. I have like this 97-cent notebook that I get like at Target. I mean, it's cheap. Write down a vertical line. I'm gonna actually show you guys right now, so we're not
illustrate.
Yeah, it's very hardcore, like illustration.
We're using props now.
Ta-da!
Oh,
just
wow.
like that. Pros, cons. Okay, make a list of
I think
those
we can
things.
handle that.
You got that? Yeah. Make a list of those things that really, truly, if you're thinking I'm going to do X, Y, Z, write out the pros and cons of that list, and then decide, okay, from that list, and what I would do, here's what I would do. Make a pros and cons list for if I made that decision, if I made that investment, what would be the pros of that, what would be the challenges with that. If I didn't
what's the cost? So coming from a financial planner, I'd say write down the costs. Hey, RT.
But that would be all part of the benefits and challenges or the pros and cons aspect of that, you know, because if it's like, okay, if you, just for nice round numbers, if you were like, I'm going to spend $100,000 on something, and $100,000 scares the bejesus out of you. You've never made that level of investment before, but you know there's all these other benefits that go with that.
Well, what's the potential gain from the $100,000?
So you got to put that down on paper.
Write it down.
You can't just put it in here. Like, you can't just commit to that in the brain, because you literally have to see it.
This guy's probably thinking we're like staring at it. It's a guy facing back.
We have a very eclectic environment.
We're cornered. We refuse to go outside because it's just too cold and rainy. Sorry.
Yeah, and we're probably talking in circles because it is.
No, we're not. You're very structured.
Okay,
We've talked about how do you know how to invest in yourself, and ultimately you put it down on paper. And how do you know when to invest for your future self? The question is how much to invest for your future self, not when. you have to invest for your future self now, whether it's $50 a month or whether it's $5,000 a month. You have to. So that's where you don't need me to put away $50 a month. Go open an investment account. If you don't know what to buy, call me. I'll give you the advice for free and help you out. But the question is when, not
and
how.
You don't really need me, like, depending on where you're at, okay? Because not everybody is going to, depending on where their juncture is in their world, they're not necessarily going to be in a position to work with either one of us. Because again, as I mentioned, I'm at a place in my business, Amy's at a place in her business, respectively, that we come with a particular skill set. We've worked really hard at investing in ourselves, not only financially, but also mentally, emotionally, and all that jazz.
For sure.
So, but there are resources like this podcast, for instance, or this video cast. This is a free asset or free resource that Amy provides, not asset, but free resource that Amy provides.
Right.
I have, respectively, a video chat that I do on my own subject and podcasts and things like that. So those are free resources. There are tons of books out there. So, like, if you're
list some books that you are a crazy book reader, man.
So I'm
some of the books that you're.
I'm going to rattle off a few.
Okay, ready? Write these down. Seriously.
But somebody put in the chat, Megan or somebody that can actually put it real quick in the chat box, thequeenofresults.com/books. I have my 2017 list there. Some of the books that has really revolutionized and changed my world in the way I'm thinking, the way I'm posturing myself. The One Thing, that's a great book. The One Thing. Let's see, Blue Fishing. Oh my goodness! And this is Blue
He's going to be speaking here.
He's going to be speaking here. Steve Sims is actually going to be speaking. Blue Fishing. I do a lot in helping people be more productive and elevating their presence. So Blue Fishing is that book that's going to really help people position themselves from a place of.
She wants you to say the.
Oh, sorry. One more time.
The books.
Oh, thequeenofresults.com/books. Let's see here. So we also have, we'll go over to the classic one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's one that's been talked about a lot today.
We should talk about Ken Courtwright's podcast too.
Yeah,
because I know Jim loves it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jim, Ed, he loves it too. So Ken Courtwright has a phenomenal podcast.
You always say Ken. It's Ken.
All right. She always makes fun of me for saying whatever, but
Ken Courtwright.
It's Ken. It's Ken. I think I'm saying it right, but
it's fine. Sweetie.
Oh well. But so these are just there's a lot of like tangible resources. If you're not going to work with somebody privately, you could actually take books and podcasts. Podcasts are free. Hello. Thank you so much, Megan, for that. But books, I mean, until I got into a place where I was able to like financially afford and also make the time investment. I read books. I went to other seminars, things that were local in my local market. So again, what are
huge to read. And I don't personally read that much. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Hey, Jackie, how are you, girl? I try to and our podcast is the Nova Wealth Show, by the way. If you and we just had one post today for the first time in 3 weeks. I've been really bad about it. Part of my struggle is Jim. He doesn't ever want to do it. I'm going to blame it on Jim because he's not here, and he's probably still not listening.
Hey, but we did talk about a strategy and how we were going to get that done more often.
Yes,
so that's another thing.
Productivity, which is what Erica specializes in, efficiency and productivity. Audiobooks, that's another great one. Thank you, Megan. Yes. So I mean, ultimately, if you need to know whether to invest in yourself, there's 3 ways to get resources, but then if you're going to take it to the next level, if you have something specific, that's when you know when to invest in yourself. So that's when you know you need to call like an Erica to invest in yourself or specifically what you are going to do. Don't just hire somebody to help you figure out what you want to do. That's not when you invest in yourself, okay?
And you want to vet those resources too, because there's a lot of shady you-know-whats in the world right now that are wanting to take advantage of, especially if you're making those future investments in your
there's a lot of shady
golden goose egg, right?
In every business,
every business. So do your homework. Amy and I were actually just talking about this last night, and it's like, there's this aspect of like really truly vetting, asking the right questions, understanding the people that you're surrounding yourself with, getting other people's opinions, understanding that so the pros and cons list that I just suggested earlier, take that a step further and don't ask everybody and their mama about what to do. Please don't do that. That is the silliest thing you can do.
Same thing when investing for your future self. Don't take it from your poker buddy on what to invest in Bitcoin tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, seriously. Either do your own research, or if you don't have the time to do your own research, hire somebody. If you don't have the money to hire somebody, then don't do it if you don't understand it. Well, that's my process of thinking.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that will like. So what I do, especially when I was not thinking on a much bigger global scale about building my business and that sort of thing. This is before I even had my business, but I always sought out other people's mojo or other people's the people that were doing things that I knew I wanted to do. I sought their counsel. Greg Lee talks about that a lot. He alluded to it earlier.
3 Feet from Gold.
Don't seek opinion, seek counsel. That is so important. So if you are going to take the time to, vet resources, don't be asking your mama. She's a great person, but she may not necessarily know. And we talked about this today.
Don't ask my mom.
I'm just don't ask mine either. Hey. All right, back on course. So that was actually kind of fun. So Mark Hardy is ready. Their table is ready.
Yes. If you're out there, Mark, your table is ready.
Hey, we're just giving you a shout out. Okay, so what was I saying?
Summarize. Let's summarize. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you know what you were saying?
Kind of. It was on that whole mama thing.
Oh, don't take advice from your mama, you said.
Well, because let's face it, and a lot of people can relate to this. Their family or their closest friends are usually the people that are giving them the biggest headache and the biggest, like, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't, whatever.
You know what, in our book that we're writing that's going to come out in just a couple of months, we talk about, unfortunately, people close to you are the ones, thank you, Michael. So the ones that are close to you are the ones that have the easiest access to take advantage of you too, unfortunately.
Yes.
Like, that's just a fact.
Right.
And that's coming from me personally, because I was at work, one of my managers was stealing checks out of my purse. Like, the people around you, unfortunately, are the ones that have the access to steal from you. So just, I'm not saying don't be trusting, I'm just saying seek counsel, seek better counsel.
Seek counsel, not opinion. Again, that's huge.
He doesn't want to do it, Michael, so text him. You call him, text him, because he doesn't want to do it.
Okay, so this is a good question. So or a good conversation. So yes. What other questions do you have?
So, well, let's summarize real quick. So we're talking about how do you know whether to invest in yourself. It's getting busy up in here, so we got to probably wrap it up. How to invest in yourself? Well, first of all, if you have a clear idea, and Erica told you earlier how to get that clear idea. Hey, Adam.
Hi,
oh my gosh, Adam.
What's
so
up?
Great.
We love Adam Wilbur.
We do love Adam Wilbur. So if you want to know how to invest in yourself, you have to have something specific down on paper, specifics, not just hire somebody to help you figure out what you invest in. That's when you invest in yourself. And then you always be investing for your future self, whether it be a tiny amount. You will never regret it. As much as you can do, if you've got time on your side, you will never regret it. What?
Holy shiitake mushrooms. Okay, this is an amazing book. I can't believe I didn't say this earlier. The Compound Effect. Hello, Darren Hardy. The compound Effect. Okay, so this is what.
I don't know that one.
Okay, so this is what Amy's talking about, right? We do those small incremental things today, and we keep adding more to the mix as we go. Like people, and I'll equate it to like weight loss, for instance, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like people all of a sudden, like New Year's Day comes, they want to lose like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. They wanted to do it like yesterday. Well, if they just would have stopped eating the Taco Bell or stopped eating the Mexican food, we didn't have Mexican food today.
Yeah, we did.
Delicious.
Didn't eat a lot of it though.
We didn't eat
in moderation.
Yeah, moderation. Getting fit, getting fitness, incorporated into your world. Those things, doing small amounts over time, will help you. So going back to
where you need to be.
Yeah. So when Amy mentioned, putting $50 in a savings account, if that's all you can do right now, if all you could do was put $20 in a savings account,
do what you can.
Do what you got to do now until you get to a point where you can say, you know what, now I'm in a place where I can actually not only make that I can put into a savings account, but now I can go invest in actual, I can go trade. I can do those other things that are more sophisticated because now you're more sophisticated because you've been doing this process the whole time.
Well, it's not even about necessarily investing like to just make a ton of money. Like stuff comes up in life, people.
Yeah.
You have to have a savings. If you're going to invest in yourself, then you have to have the ability to react when something comes up in your life. Otherwise, you're never going to get ahead and you're never going to get that opportunity to invest in yourself.
Right.
You have to have a little bit of a savings in order to be able to do that. And for those of you that make good money but don't save money or don't invest in yourself and do neither and just spend your money, you're making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Huge mistake. You are your biggest asset. Why are you not doing and being and living what you want to be? Don't just go spend your money and blow your money.
Yeah, and then you miss out on opportunities, you know, so like coming out to California from Florida today, like this, I mean, like if Amy and I weren't set up for success, like, and all of a sudden, like City Summit kind of landed, we've both known about City Summit, but like we didn't realize that we were going to make the time and the space to do it in this capacity.
Well, we sponsored just because it was a good cause. Nova Wealth Management sponsored City Gala, by the way. If you go to citygala.org, we're the presenting sponsor, because they held like 8 awesome charities, like changing the world, blow your mind, changing lives. And so we sponsored for that reason. I didn't even really realize that I would come to a 3-day summit. Like I didn't know last night was going to be 7 hours of speakers. I had no idea. And we've gotten so much value out of that. Like it just, you surround yourself with the right people and put yourself in the right places and stuff happens. Like it just happens.
But my point to this is, like, if we weren't set up for success in terms of, like, if we weren't thinking about, like, oh, you know what, we want to go fly out to California, spend 3 days or 4 to 5 days, I think, when it's all said and done. And then, you know, like,
I've been away from the kids, Megan.
And all this stuff, right? So all of this stuff that you do, like, if you barely have, you're just barely scraping by, like, you miss out on those opportunities, right? You know, because, like, we're encountering some really amazing people. We're having some significant meetings, like, in between.
It's amazing, some of the one-liners. I don't know if you have your notes with you, but like, let's reflect on some of the notes from this conference. Seriously, there has been so much that I have gotten today from the market is closed, you should do a shot on the live. I don't know about that. I think I might fall asleep in 3 hours if I do that, honey. Thanks for the recommendation, though. I don't think I'll be able to think.
Let's see. Okay,
I don't drink much anymore.
So Jason Cisneros, he was like dropping some major freaking value bombs. We are going to have to censor our stuff because he had a lot of colorful language. And
I cannot read your writing. What
I know.
I'm
sorry. Look. So here. Okay. Let's look
at her writing.
Whatever.
Can anyone read that?
Whatever.
Seriously.
Okay, I can read it. Maybe. Okay. So people do business with people who increase their odds of winning. That was huge.
Danelle Delgado spoke. Gosh, she's so good.
Let's see here.
Which I did a live on my page of part of Danelle's talk, which was really awesome. She had 5 things to talk about that you have to do in business.
Okay, Jason Cisneros, this is one that's clean. What are you living life less than what you're capable of? So another huge, like, if right now you're in that place where you're not necessarily strategically aligned to gain, that's absolutely huge.
Yes, I see the swear words on.
Yeah, so I put some swear words in because I just wanted the context of where he was coming from. Wanted to make sure we got that. So let's see here.
One should never have to be saved when you're in good company.
No, scared.
Scared. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Again,
can't read her
terrible penmanship. So one should never be scared when you're in good company. Jacques Cousteau said that. He obviously wasn't here today,
but
one of our fabulous speakers quoted him. Let's see here.
If I could read your writing, I would help you out here. But my point is, if you're going to invest in yourself, you have to then capitalize on the investment. So you can't invest in yourself and then do nothing. And I've done that. I personally have done that. Like I bought ClickFunnels last year. Any of you have used ClickFunnels? I spent some money on ClickFunnels and then never did anything with it. You have to have a plan. That was my classic case where, it sounds really good, and I should be able to use this for something, and then I did nothing with it because I had no action plan, no plan of what I was going to do with it. So you end up wasting the money. So know what you're going to do if you're going to invest in yourself. Know where you're going with it. Know what you're doing with it. And then if you're going to invest in it, freaking use it and capitalize on it. I mean, put it to work. Like Danelle actually, one of the things Danelle actually said was, everybody knows, everybody on this that watches this, you know what you need to do right now to get yourself to the next level. You know what you need to do. Write it down. You probably can think of one thing off the top of your head, like, I know what I need to do. And then the next question she followed up with it was, well, why aren't you doing it? So what excuses do you have? Why aren't you doing it? Like, that was just really impactful.
Yeah.
And get everything you want in life, if you'll just helping other people get what they want. Oh my gosh, that is so true. That's what this whole summit is about, is people giving back. The whole ideal revolving around it is to help people, because it just always comes back to you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
True.
And like speaking of that, so I think there's a lot of us right now who think that, okay, so speaking of future investments, they think, I want to either I want to be financially free, or I want to have those things so I can actually give back.
Right.
Holy cow.
I hear that a lot.
If you guys don't know Lee Clark, okay, she's a freaking rock star. Lee Clark, go look her up. She has actually something called Kindly. It's actually kind and kind, and then Lee, Leigh. So if you look up Kindly Art, she's somebody that she's not like a trillionaire, but she actually does random acts of kindness, right? So
I love your random words that you make.
So those investments, like Amy and I are part of this really cool thing where it's there's all this philanthropy, and there's all this discussion around surrounding ourselves with people that are making big impact. But you don't have to be super wealthy in order to start making those changes right now.
Invest your time.
Yes.
Your time is money, and it's an investment in you. Your time.
Yeah. And we didn't really get into it because this wasn't truly about showcasing my business. That's not what this is about today.
Really? Did you say grillionaire or trillionaire?
Trillionaire.
She said trillionaire.
Oh, but grillionaire works too, Megan. So grillionaire, grill. No, I'm kidding.
It's definitely my team.
No, maybe not. But we don't.
We should do a show and make it interesting.
I can't because I'm training for a marathon. But
I'm training for a marathon.
Shush.
But I can't even run 7 gates in an airport.
I couldn't either until I started making investments in myself on my training. Yeah, I just tied that all back into the show. Okay.
Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking
about investing in yourself, or investing for your future self.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. And just taking that time to really align yourself. Oh, that was the point. My point was this. My business didn't happen because I just sat, I created a plan. So we did talk about that on some level, but I actually took action. Amy takes action. We go out there, we connect with people, we interact with people, we volunteer at nonprofit organizations, we get to rub shoulders with other influencers that are doing amazing things, and by default, we're creating more investments in our network.
Right.
So there's other opportunities. So this is actually a really deep subject. I was thinking we could probably talk about 3 things, but we're finding 11 new things to talk about today. So.
I know. Well, it's just kind of going off on little tangents, but it all comes back to, what do you want? Okay, we all know that if we get to the age of 65 and we want to retire, it's much better having the option than to being forced to still have to work, okay? Right. So we all know that. So that's investing for your future self. You have to be doing that in some way, shape, or form. If you've got kids, putting away money for their college is investing in your future self, because that's money you will not have to put forth when you get to that point. You're preparing. And then investing in yourself now, you have to know specifically, and I said this already, but you have to know specifically what you want out of it. If you call an Erica, you have to know why you're calling her and what you want her to do for you. Otherwise, she can't be successful in her job.
Because I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm coming from a place of yes, I can guide you, but I'm not going to make your decisions for you. And so, for those, and Amy's obviously in her own respective.
11D.
Yes, 11D. That's what I said. That's Brandon Leopoldus's. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, 11D. I did say that.
What does that mean?
It's like a number.
Oh.
It's not, but one of our other friends actually said it. So
I'm so drowned out.
Look at this hot
we're soaked. Seriously, man. But my pants are stretching.
But the value bombs that are coming from this today are
this is awesome. Yeah, thanks you guys for joining. If you like this video, please share it. We need to get this word out, and especially if you want to be starting on aligning yourself with the right people, you can share it and offer them value. That's a freebie. Yeah. All you gotta do is share it. Yeah. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Nova Wealth Management, MGMT, it's abbreviated, or at Novakovich Amy is my personal. And we're constantly posting tips. I swear, and I can't say it now, but I was going to post this morning by today. I did a little video yesterday on if your monthly, yesterday was the 1st, right?
Yes.
Yesterday was the 1st. If you are one of those people that are monthly systematically putting away your money, and you do it on the 1st of every month, you bought on a great day yesterday. It was a down day. Even though the market opened up down today, it ended up coming back a little bit. So if you do monthly, you're going to average out over time too. So you're not going to have to worry about timing the market. That's the other thing. Versus if you get a chunk of money, and all of a sudden you say, oh, when do I invest it? S&P, yeah, that was just a typo. Finished screen, yeah, the Dow was down still, I think, a little bit, right? Everything changes in like the last 3 minutes of the day, which is whatever. But if you invest systematically, you will average out over time versus just waiting until you have a bunch of money to invest, and now it's going to make a difference whether you invested at the beginning of the week or today. It's going to be like a 2 or 4% swing. So that was a little video that I did, which is a resource that you have available to you if you go to my YouTube channel, Noble Wealth Management, or if you follow us on Twitter. And then tell them where they can find you.
So you can connect with me on Facebook over at Erica Castner, and then you can also hang out with me on Twitter. My old handle, which we're going to be updating that, but right now where you can connect with me is Queen of Results. So that's where I'm at.
Queen of Results.
Well, thank you, ladies. So this was actually a lot of fun.
This is so fun.
And this is totally unscripted. We literally came up with the topic over lunch. So.
Like literally a half hour ago.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim. Honey.
So we were hoping we gave you some sort of comedic value, if not like,
entertainment.
And also like what
some
you can do and actually like to think about your today investments in your
I stalk you like it's my job. I appreciate that in the nicest way.
Megan, you're awesome.
All right, guys, have an awesome weekend. Stay tuned because I'm going to be posting, on Instagram too. I've been posting little videos, and actually I've been going live when the speakers come on, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. All right, guys, have an awesome weekend. Thank you.
Go rock.
You got to go walk in the rain.
All right, bye.